What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Chopper channel, coming to you with another edition of Lindy's Links, Likes, and Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video. Goes a long way for you. That way you become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. Thank you to everybody for all the kind words. Kyle Kerms, it was an awesome time doing his show over the Sauce over on that network. Fantastic stuff. If you're not following them on YouTube, you definitely should be. One of the sharper content creators out there in the space, and just an overall great dude. Fun to talk baseball. I know a lot of people want to talk baseball day of with me, and that was a great way to be able to do that in his community. Hopefully we can have him over here on Odd Chopper sooner rather than later to hang out as well with you. But thank you for all the kind words. Thank you for all the interaction. They weren't always kind words, but it was a lot of fun to do. I love talking baseball. I love talking sports in general, and I love betting them. Let's go make some money here. Tuesday, a little bit of a thin card as of right now. I know we'll get prop exposure. Odd Chopper is great with that. We'll talk about them later. We'll talk BetMGM here as well behind me. But producer Jacob, we got some hockey to get to. I bet the under of 1.5 points here for Connor McDavid, like a sick person. That'll be fantastic. We'll see how that pans out. I don't think I've ever put a play in the premium Discord, but it was popping on Odd Chopper. Felt pretty good about it. You could have found kind of a middle if you really wanted to take advantage of that. Could live bet at goal here. We'll see. It's 1-1, just about the end of the first period, but paying attention to that Game 7, it's the best two words in sports, Game 7. But anywho, there were no Game 7s for producer Jacob and his Boston Celtics. Absolute smackdown. Game 5, get it done. So divine. But anyway, we've got 15 games, every team on the slate here for MLB on Tuesday. Without further ado, let's get to the picks. Our day begins a little bit differently than what we had on Monday. On Monday, I bet all of those first three. I bet the Cleveland side of things, ended up on their money line, ended up on the Philly money line, ended up on the Seattle money line as well. Boom, boom, boom. Not going to be the case here today. We've got a couple of southpaws on the mound. We've got Mr. Logan Allen. We've got Mr. Cole Irvin here in this one. Now, it's always good to be a southpaw in Baltimore. It's always helpful to have that huge left field fence staring at you if you're Logan Allen and Cole Irvin, who give up tons, and I do mean tons, of hard contact. 42% for Mr. Cole Irvin, around 47% for Mr. Logan Allen. These guys are going to have issues in other ballparks, but they might have issues in this ballpark. There's 9s and 9.5s, and you know why? Because it is hot as all heck up in Baltimore, and the wind is blowing out to that left field fence. So two southpaws that generally probably get a little bit of help there. Going to be helping the hitters to be hitting it out to left field here. Interested to see where some of those home run props open at this point in time. Holy crap, Vlad Guerrero just hit an absolute bomb. That went way over the monster. That was wild. Did you see that? I'm always watching. Always watching. Look at the baby. Look at the baby. But I'm just leaning the over of 9 here in this one. These are difficult circumstances to really figure out exactly what I want to do. Yeah, Kierstead got called up. He ended up having 2 hits in his first 2 at-bats there for Baltimore. Knew that was going to be like one of those sweats that I had that was going to be uncomfortable, because that's a hitter that I really like the profile of him going forward. We got Gaddis out there right now pitching. Hopefully him and Heron, they're just so good for the Cleveland side. But currently in the middle of a 12-pitch at-bat against Kierstead, Mr. Gaddis is. That's a wild one to watch. But anywho, back to the baseball. Over 9 here. Well, I guess I was talking baseball anyway. I'll move this one quickly along. Ranger Suarez, Tariq Skubal. These are 2 of the best pitchers in their respective leagues. The AL, Tariq Skubal is your favorite to win Cy Young. Ranger Suarez was your favorite to win Cy Young. I think he still is in the NL. Just on a really good baseball team. The guy's got a 26.8% K rate, 270 xWOBA. As for Skubal, we know how good he is. These 2 pitchers are exceptional. It's a game environment, though. 7.5 is actually warranted considering the quality of hitters on the Philadelphia side and the environment in general, where Detroit could maybe find 1 or 2 here off of Mr. Suarez, and then getting after a bullpen that it's improved. Philly's bullpen used to be the shaky thing many years ago. It's short up to a certain extent. Alvarez always freaks me out watching that southpaw come in. But anywho, in this spot, under 7.5 is going to be my lean, purely because of the starting pitching quality. But nothing is popping for me as of right now. We'll revisit tomorrow. And again, 3 games that I bet yesterday and 3 games that are off the board here. Seattle and Tampa Bay. I will say woo, Brian Woo. Sad to see him leave there after a pretty short stint. 3 innings, ended up having a hamstring issue. So we'll keep an eye on that one for the year-long league people. But Brian Woo was pitching so damn good here. They are up in that game right now, 3-1 top of the 7th. Taj Bradley did end up on the strikeouts there as well. He ended up eclipsing 6.5 there over for the DK people. But Luis Castillo, Zach Littell in this one, I want nothing to do with this. Castillo's had some struggles of late, some lower K props for him that have been popping up. I think we're going to be getting a 5.5 still on him in this spot, but it's not like even a 4.5. That's not the Luis Castillo that I know. Normally, he's somebody who we're going to see with a strikeout rate, but giving up the hard contact. And now, strikeout rate's still there, 24.7%, just not nearly as prominent as it once was. Not the same as it was. I'm not going to sing. Zach Littell, friends, 442 expected slugging. Just get this game off the screen as well. 3 games that I have no interest in. Not going to waste your time any further. Seattle money line might lean. If you had to, give me the Castillo side, but not feeling all that great about it. Finally, let's start talking some plays. Garrett Cole. This is just a pissing. Freudian slip. This is a pitching mismatch. Now, David Peterson's kind of been pissed when it comes to pitching here so far this season. And Garrett Cole, well, we have one. We're going for one sample size there, but the strikeouts were right back to where they once were. The guy had some really good strikeout stuff there in those AAA outings as he was ramping up. David Peterson, guys, 368 xWOBA, bad. 12.2% K rate, bad. 307 expected batting average, very, 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 very bad. And you know what? You have to take on the Yankees, and you're struggling. Oh, yeah. Only a 1-3 WRC plus against lefties for the Yankees. That is so freaking wild to me. That just doesn't even seem correct. But either way, it is correct because it's on my sheet. But the Yankees on the run line, the Battle of New York, I get Grimace has been a thing, and the people are going crazy for the purple guy. But this is backing Garrett Cole on the run line plus money. I think it's few and far between. If this game happened 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, before this Grimace madness, you're telling me I'm getting plus 106 on Garrett Cole? Everything looked great for him in that first start, so he's great. We're going to back him, and you guys should be backing Odd Chopper. We got the OS Premium Tools, the Discord Insider Access. If you want to come kick it with me, friends, talk through the MLB streets and the MLB slate every single Monday through Friday. Well, that is where you can find me on the weekends. I frequent the streets here as well, especially on a UFC 303 card this weekend. Oh, yeah, I'm going to be hanging out there Saturday. Going to be good times. I'm excited for the rematch, Yuri and Mr. Pereira. Oh, it's going to be a lot of fun. And if you guys want to come kick it, get some bets up in the air with me there, like you just don't, well, I do care. $14.95 weekly, $49.95 monthly. And if you use promo code Lindy, that's super easy. 20% off. That's $12 for your first week to get all of the tools and all of the content in that premium Discord. Really good deal here, my friends. Jump on in, and it'll be Dinger Tuesday. Yes, Dinger Tuesday coming back to you. Hopefully we can get that thing fired up for the people. Looking forward to that. Pay attention to the Odd Shopper picks and Odd Shopper YouTube. Oh, well, I almost said YouTube. Well, you're here, so that's weird to say. But on X, friends, go follow those over on X. We're going to have some giveaways and some other things coming up here. You want to be following that. Back to the picks we go. Pitt and Cincinnati, 2 pitchers that, well, Hunter Green's my boy. You're my boy, Blue. He always has been. He always will be. He throws crazy velocity. He started to figure out his home run problem. 34.2% hard hit this season, 20.3 degree average launch angle. I just get a little freaked out by the weather. If it weren't for the heat and the wind blowing out in Cincinnati, I do think this under would look really good. Instead, it is simply a lean for me. Mitch Keller coming off of a phenomenal outing on the Pittsburgh side. If he can join Paul Skeens mother trucker and Mr. Jones, who Mr. Jones starting to figure it out here again. He throws crazy velocity too. But Mitch Keller, friends, 7 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts, just 83 pitches up against Cincinnati in this 1-0 ball game. Does it feel great facing the same team you just got done lighting up? I don't know, but I'm leaning towards the under here. Oh boy, I want to play this. I really, really do, but it's going to have to be a pass. Too much other baseball on the card. Like this spot, we have a 6-2 ball game as Vlad, again, he hit an absolute missile. I've got a couple of squares going over here on this, and I don't think YouTube would appreciate if I flipped over and probably shouldn't do that. But Kevin Gausman, Brian Bayo, friends. We're going to back the Gausman side. Sorry, I keep saying friends today. I can hear myself saying it. It's been a long day. But Toronto Blue Jays, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., 5'10", expected slugging, 58.8% hard hit. Hit a bomb over the Green Monster. It's weird, too, because the launch angle has kind of been the issue for him and why he's not hitting more home runs. Only 5.7 degree average launch angle. That's like Yelich-ish Again, another guy where I just want to have them grab the lob wedge a little bit more. But Kevin Gausman, I get that the peripheral stats have been okay. Like they've been okay, not Kevin Gausman, like 4.24 ERA, 1.29 whip, but not bad. And then 5.12 expected ERA. It's really, really strange to look at with an 11.2% barrel percentage, but I think this stuff is going to turn around sooner rather than later. Just throw the splitter. Just keep throwing the splitter. But Brian Bayo, this is more of a bet against him here. I don't know how many times he should be a favorite in a lot of these spots. This guy, I thought would have some strikeout pedigree coming into the big leagues. It just hasn't come to fruition. 20.4% K rate. Does have that ground ball rate, 54.5%, but I think Toronto can keep the line on moving. So getting a slight dog here, Toronto money line. This is probably the weakest play that exists on the card of anything. Could have made this a lean like, but I already bet it. So, well, that makes it a like. So riddle me that, Batman. Because I did make this a lean like. Haven't bet it yet, but I think we might be getting a better number if we just sit, wait, wish. But Reynaldo Lopez, Kyle Gibson, curious to see how this game finishes out. 4-1 St. Louis going to the bottom half of things. Ended up on the over of that game. We'll see what happens there. Miami getting after Cole Reagans here in the fourth inning. That's also a wild run out. But I look at Reynaldo Lopez. He's been very, very good so far this season and probably one of the bright spots on an Atlanta injury-riddled season to some of their stars in terms of Ronald Acuna. And then obviously we know starting pitching been hard to come by some healthy arms. They did get Max Fried back here in the last month or two, so he's been good. Reynaldo Lopez, 25.9%, 310 xWOBA, everything looking pretty darn nice for him in this spot. Now, I want to be backing Atlanta on the run line. I just think I want to wait because Kyle Gibson here, 344 xWOBA, 441 expected slugging. I'm not sure why, but there's been a lot of people that I've just seen on Twitter. I see the chatter. It tends to be public consensus. Kyle Gibson, 3.44 ERA, 1.20 whip. Oh, that means he's good, right? I don't know. He just got done giving up just 2 hits to Chicago, 7 innings pitched, 6 Ks, but wind blowing in helps. Wind's going to be blowing out here. It's 90 degrees again in St. Louis. My goodness, I can't possibly back Kyle Gibson in such conditions. So Atlanta on the run line. I'm calling it a lean like, but have it on your radar for tomorrow. When this thing gets north of plus 120, bet it. Good talk. Glad we had it. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Colorado outside of Coors. Now, they did get Monday off. That kind of trips me up a little bit because I do love to bet against Colorado. That first game after being up in Coors Field, seeing the ball at altitude. You know why? Because the ball breaks a lot more when you get back on land. I spoke about that like it's Little Mermaid or something. Getting back under the sea. Anyway, we've got Mr. Hunter Brown, who's been on the comeback here. 4.72 ERA, 1.41 whip will not impress you. You know what will? All of his underlying metrics that are way better. 33.3% hard hit, 25.5% K rate, sub 5% barrel percentage. But I want to just highlight star center Hunter Brown going up against Austin Gomber. Now, Austin Gomber, terrible, 16.3% K rate, 485 expected slugging. But the other part of this is Hunter Brown gets to face a Colorado team that strikes out at a 25.5% clip. Now, this ladder could end up being kind of the Marcell Ozuna situation where it's just like, it shocks me that the books are so ahead of this one. But I'm assuming 6.5, our opening number here, slightly juiced to the over. I'm fine with that. I'm going to be looking at laddering him up. Hopefully we get like the plus 300-ish type number here on 9Ks, but it really matters on the construction of this lineup. So I'm going to want to bet this one early before we see it here. I hope with all of the injuries that we get Toglia, that we get Nolan Jones higher up in the order, that we get Sean Bouchard potentially higher up in the order. Even Ryan McMahon, who's an awesome hitter, 28.4% K rate. In fact, nobody on their active roster lower than a 21.8% K rate on the season. That is insane. So Hunter Brown, phenomenal spot to be racking up some Ks. Fire it up, just like you should fire up BetMGM. Head to the link below, friends. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, take advantage. A first bet safety net up to $1,500 can be yours. This basically means when you deposit $25 or more and play $25 or more on your first bet at BetMGM, they're going to recoup that back in bonus bets if it loses. If it wins, keep your money. Great opportunity to take a big swing. Play within your means. Please gamble responsibly. Do all of those beautiful things, but you want to take advantage here up to $1,500 because it is a huge opportunity. These sports books, these deals are fewer and far between. So take advantage of it. Try to find a big plus money dog if you can. Big plus money dog. That's a great way to do it. And then fire it up over at BetMGM down at the link below. Only if you're 21 and over. Please play responsibly. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Back to the picks we go. We're 60% of the way through, 6 games to go. Hit the like button, subscribe button, notification bells. We have Bobby Miller versus Chris Flexen in his candy paint, rolling dank, sip and drink on an 84 swing. I have to do that. It's in my contract. It's not in my contract. I wish it were. That would be really cool. But Bobby Miller, friends, stop saying friends. I know you're my friends, though. I love you. 43.5% hard hit, 26.7% K rate. Pretty good stuff. Again, I'm expecting the K rate to eventually just pop for this dude. 25-year-old, crazy velo, 98, 99. The changeup curveball, though, why is this? Why is this that he is not generating more strikeouts? I don't quite get it. Feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Some would argue I probably am. But four-seamer, 304 expected batting average against it. Pretty wild because 46.2% whiff percentage on the changeup. I got to think the fastball into the changeup is going to just start playing better and better and better as time goes on. But Chris Flexen on the other side, gotta say, I'm actually leaning towards the +1.5 here. And here's a couple of reasons why. One, we just got the first iteration of Tommy Pham, Eloy Jimenez, and Luis Robert all together active for the first time this season. It's been few and far between that we've seen them all together. Birds of a feather now. Good stuff. But the other part of this is, yes, the Dodgers, very, very good. Very, very good baseball team, but +120 here on a guy who's actually been a little bit improved from what I've seen, and Bobby Miller still not generating the swing and miss on a fastball. 451 expected slugging for Chris Flexen. God, this is such a freaky spot. Just going to be leaning, going to pay very close attention to first 5 numbers, going to pay very close attention to get the White Sox bullpen about as trash as it gets. You know what's funny is now we actually have 6 games left, so I'm going to speed it up. Miami, Kansas City, I do like this one. We're going to go to Yanni Chirinos and Seth Lugo. Oh, wouldn't you know it? As soon as we say that, back-to-back home runs. Vinny Pasquantino, Sal Perez, back-to-back. That's going to be popular for the DFS people. But Chirinos, oh boy, he's yet another Miami starter that does not look good in any way, shape, or form. I mean, all of these guys are just brutality. Now, Chirinos, this season, we have like no sample size, 87 pitches on it, but last season, 6.24 expected ERA. Maybe there's some improvement there. Maybe not. I'm going to guess no. We'll take a look. 8 hits he gave up last time around. Still found ways to be successful. So shout out Yanni Chirinos for your one good start. Have fun in Kansas City in 90-degree weather and 50% humidity and all of that goodness with the wind blowing out. 9.5. There's 9.5s. It says 10.5 on your screen, and it's correct because there are 10.5s. That's the high point of it, and that's generally what we base this graphic off of. But 9.5s exist. They do exist. Fire it up. Over 9.5. Going to be a like for me. Not a lock. I've got one coming up later, I promise. This is not that. Now, I stared at this game for a long time. This is actually the game that I broke down the most on my end. And it doesn't always show out because, hey, there doesn't end up being a play. But sometimes the omission of a play and not making something a play can matter just as much as giving you a winning bet. Because, well, if it doesn't have my confidence, if it doesn't have the probabilities, the math, the price and probability, it's not going to be a winner long-term. And that is what I'm here to help you do. So Andrew Heaney up against Bryce Wilson. I thought I was going to end up on the Milwaukee money line. I thought I was going to bet them. You know my checkered past with this team just in the year of our Lord 2024. I feel like they've been a good team for me in the past, specifically the last 2 years. Been betting, well, back when the Corbin Burns days existed. Those were the best days to be on the Milwaukee side, early and often there. But in this specific spot, we know that the left side, not as pronounced as what it is on the right side. Milwaukee sitting down there with a pretty paltry 89 WRC plus on the season against lefties. Don't know what to make of it. Andrew Heaney's giving up the hard contact. But I got to say, when I started running through Bryce Wilson, it didn't get very exciting. 45.8% hard hit, 451 expected slugging. Yes, righties have not necessarily been raking against Texas, but they've been pretty successful. 93 WRC plus against righties. Broke that down a little bit yesterday for you. On Tuesday, though, Milwaukee money line is just a lean. I would need better than -115. I thought this would be on the card, but it is not, my friends. Probably won't be. Your only home run play comes in a weird spot here. Mitch Spence going up against Tyler Anderson. Mr. Anderson. A lot of people want to always point out how much better Tyler Anderson, the southpaw, is for LA this season. I kind of get it. Now, it's tough because Logan O'Hoppe is a great hitting catcher. He's got a slow pop-up time. So you want to talk about some stolen base upside. I'm also going to be paying attention to Zach Geloff, to Max Schumann, to JJ Bleday, folks. Shea Langoliers even, somebody who a little bit quicker than most expect. And then Daz Cameron, we'll see if he ends up in that lineup here as well. But want to say, I'm going to pay attention to stolen base props here because Tyler Anderson, a little bit slower for a lefty, and there's going to be some type of stolen base upside potentially here, unless it ends up being Matt Tice that catches, in which case, sorry about it. My bad. That would be weird. That would be awkward. Kind of like this segment. Good job, Eric. Oh, yeah, we can go on to the analysis now. Suspense, we're not going to be doing anything up against him, but I'm actually going to look at the home run side going up against Tyler Anderson, where 334 xWOBA, 440 expected slugging. I just want to point out the launch angle is the main thing. A little bit warmer there, around 80 degrees at first pitch projected tomorrow. 9.4% barrel percentage for Tyler Anderson with an 18-degree average launch angle, 32% fly ball rate. I think Brent Rooker is in a spot to launch one. 529 expected slugging, 51.7% hard hit, better than plus 300. Again, maybe this ends up being the Marcell Ozuna where the books are ahead of me now. They beat me to it. I got to think something else out, but we're definitely going to get that number, I would think, on Brent Rooker. Famous last words. My Twins are going up against Arizona. As long as this roof stays closed, and it should, it's 110 degrees outside. We got Mr. Joe Ryan, Brandon Pfaadt in a good spot to be decently well off. Now, it's a decent enough ballpark, lots of real estate out there in Arizona. But Brandon Pfaadt, 377 expected slugging, 289 xWOBA going up against my Twins. And the Twins against righties, 107 WRC+. They've been pretty darn good. Top 10 in baseball. But still like Brandon Pfaadt's stuff enough that I want to be backing the under here with Joe Ryan. And this is not a pitcher that I tend to back a ton, but he gets indoors under this dome. 9.7% barrel percentage is problematic, but a 20-degree launch angle that I think helps out. That Ketel Marte has just been brutal the last week or so. Doc Peterson, we love him. Almost got that double dong on Friday. That would have been so fun to get two of them in the same week. The first two times I've ever bet two home run guys, but whatever. Christian Walker, get by him. Corbin Carroll's had a tough year, even though he'll probably be leading off in the spot. Yeah, Joe Ryan, Brandon Pfaadt, two pitchers that I think have warts, have issues with fly balls, could run into trouble elsewhere. I think they'll be just fine under this dome, and under 8.5, I like it. Now to your lock of the day, and there's a like play attached to it, so you got to hang with me here for a second. We got Mackenzie Gore, we got Yu Darvish. Now, on the side of your screen, it says plus 116. I bet this at plus 110 before it ended up crashing and reopening at plus 104. And why is that? Well, very simply, Fernando Tatis, he is on the IL now. They are going to put him on the IL here as of Monday. So Tuesday, you're not going to have Fernando Tatis guaranteed to be in that lineup. That is a huge devaluation to this entire lineup. So it is now going to be sitting right around plus 104, plus 105 by the time you hear this. And that is still okay with me, but it goes in the light category. There still is a lock attached to it because Mackenzie Gore is very, very, very good at the pitching of the baseballs. Now, there's also a little bit of conflicting information that we have on who the potential starter is going to be in this spot. So you have to know the rules of your book as well. Two very important. Oh, I'm going to die. Hang on. If it will do it live, but I'm definitely looking at the San Diego side as a huge devaluation, not having Fernando Tatis, kind of a down year by his standards, but at the same time, Yu Darvish is one option. The other one is Mazur, the Adam Mazur fellow, who has been absolute brutality. Now, he got recalled from AAA Paso to start this game. That seems to be it, but he probably ends up being your starter because I don't think Yu Darvish is going to be ready to rock on Tuesday. And that is a huge pitching disparity. So if you can get to a book where you can get first five on Mackenzie Gore, who is fantastic, he's sitting right around minus 116, which should be way higher than this. I get that it is not a very good Washington lineup, but at the same time, it is a ballpark that reduces variance, not a ton of runs going down in Petco on a day-to-day basis. But I don't think you have Yu Darvish as your projected starter. If you have to bet at a book where it's going to be the projected starter. Wait for Missouri, because I think that ends up being who it is in this spot. And who he is a drastically worse pitcher. 7.27 ERA, 1.96 whip, just got lit up by Milwaukee last time out there at home. It's been a tough run for him. You want to be invested. You need to be invested in Washington in some capacity here. So I'm giving you a dealer's choice. I like Washington getting plus money here on this money line. I have a small play on that one. But the lock, the thing that I fired the full unit for, is the first 5. Find those numbers. Get those numbers, friends. It is the best play that exists on the board coming into Tuesday. So I will repeat. You have Washington money line. I like it. Has to have plus money attached to it. First 5 has to be inside of minus 120, and it is a lock with Mackenzie Gore on the mound. And a ton of explanation turns into the last game of the night, which has no explanation whatsoever. We have Kyle Hendricks. He's terrible. Have no idea who's going to be pitching here for San Francisco. My guess, if you had to make me guess, and it's kind of my job to give you one, is this Wisenhunt character who it sounds like is going to get called up, and that'll be fun to watch. I'll just sit around and wait for that one. But Kyle Hendricks is brutality. He's not good. Now, it's a great ballpark to be pitching in. It's almost like getting the wind behind the pitcher there in Wrigley Field. It's useful. But Miguel Amaya, Tomas Nido, these are your two catching options. Both of them have their warts. Slow pop-up time for Amaya. The arm for Nido is just basically non-existent. Pay attention to these kind of things. Also going to be looking at some stolen base upside on the San Francisco side. We got some speedsters over there, right? Matt Chapman can actually run. Austin Slater can run. Brett Wisely can run. Tierra Estrada can run. A couple of those guys can run. I'm going to run out of here. Let's get out of here. Should we just make it San Francisco money line and call it a day? Lean. Kind of need to know the starter. That's kind of important. And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Head to the comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays that exist on the board here. Hopefully that Washington explanation was good for you. Talk through a little bit of how things change. A batter downgrade, not something that you see a ton, because Fernando Tatis, he's worth it. He's worth it. A lot of these hitters, you can basically write them off as very slight downgrades going from certain guys to certain guys. But amongst these top 20, top 30 bats or so, they definitely matter to the price. And well, it's going to look a little bit different. Hopefully, we still get that plus money attached to everything on that Washington side for the money line and attached inside of minus 120 for that first 5. Anywho, let's get ourselves the heck up out of here. Thank you, producer Jacob. I'm going to go watch hockey. A little bit of hockey. Going to be awesome. BetMGM, Odd Chopper, sign up for those down below. Again, thank you to Kyle Kerms for having me over on that program, The Sauce. If you're not following him, please give him a follow over on social media, Kyle Kerms, and then check out his YouTube channel. It is really, really cool stuff, and excited to be a very, 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 very small part of it there on Mondays, hopefully, going forward. Until next time, friends, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the MLB streets on Tuesday.